Boxing King Media in association with the Riyadh season. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Teddy Atlas. He's had a week away and he's back in this crazy time zone. Still running on minus 8 hours.
Yeah, listen, we could talk all we want about, it's hard and you're jet lagged and you're tired. But what we should really talk about mostly is the privilege to be asked to come. I mean, we're silly, we're ignorant. Really, I'm embarrassed if I talk about, oh, I'm tired, when there's so many people that would love to have that opportunity to come here and to be at this kind of event. And not only that, to be treated the way that I've been treated with so many good people here. That's what really makes it special for me. And to be able to share it with my son. So forget about jet lag, forget about tired, all that silliness. It's a great privilege and a blessing to be asked to come to an event like this. And again, to be treated the way we've been treated by the people here.
You know what I love about that, Teddy? That's old school mentality. You're old school, and it is the best school, and that's why you've said that, I think. Because the young generation don't appreciate stuff like that.
I wish they did. I wish they did. Because I have 4 grandchildren that are going to think that way, if I have anything to say about it. To be grateful for things. To not to be always expecting something, that you do something. No, you're not. You do, hopefully, to have parents that will look out for you, will teach you the right things, will give you opportunities. But really, the only thing you got coming is the opportunity to work hard to try to make something of yourself. That's what you have coming, as we all children of God, to have a equal, fair opportunity to go out there, work your backside off, and try to accomplish something. Try to make yourself proud. Try to make your parents proud. Yeah. Other than that, it's up to you. What are we? I kind of shake my head and I scratch my head and I want to bang it against the wall sometimes when I see some of these kids saying, "Oh no, what do you have for me? I want that. You want that? What do I have for you? Here, I got a job for you. Do this job." And if you do this job, you get to a higher place where you can do other things. And you know what else along the way, besides accomplishing the things that the job will lead to, you'll feel better about yourself. Because you won't have that syndrome where it's just expecting something. You'll know that you can go and earn something. And that's a great feeling.
That is a beautiful speech. We was going to talk boxing, but I actually enjoyed, and even at 40 odd years old, I've still kind of learned something from you there. I'll actually start away from this card. I'll start with your former fighter, Mike Tyson. We spoke about it last time. We was talking about the potential fight. As far as I know, I think it's still going ahead. There was a recent talk about Mike having some issue on a plane, reflux issues, etc. Obviously, I don't know how serious it is, but it looks like the fight's still on. Do you have any concerns based on what was reported?
Listen, you're always concerned when someone's 58 years old. If you're half a human being, right? Nobody, I don't think, that's a decent, consider himself a decent human being on this earth, wants anything bad to happen to somebody. People that want that, they're not people that belong in this society. They're definitely not people that add to the society. But you obviously at 58 and getting in the ring with a guy who's 28, I think, 30 years young, or whatever, even though he's much less experienced, but still a younger guy, an athletic guy, a guy in Jake Paul, give him credit. He's worked hard to learn the sport the best that he can. Look, he's in there with a legendary guy, an iconic guy, a guy who's one of the great heavyweights of all time, the great combinations of speed and power of all time, where he had power from either side of the plate. He could punch with either hand. So he's in there, even at 58, you're in there with that kind of guy that was that level of an athlete. That level of an athlete, I was telling somebody yesterday, they're still above the average guy as far as athleticism. Even at 58, there's still those quick twitch fibers. A fighter may lose his, obviously time will erode his reflexes, his timing, his speed, but not his power. The power will still be there. I was making an example to somebody the other day where they asked me about that. And I said, look, if you went and you saw one of the great baseball players like Hank Aaron or Willie Mays or Ted Williams or one of those, and you saw him at 58 in a batting cage, they'd still look remarkable. You'd still say, oh my God, that guy, because it would be still greater than something else, even for a guy who wasn't a baseball player but was younger, because they of a special ilk, they have a special ability that will still be special even at that age. Not special enough to fight other fighters, of course, that will fight, but still enough to get your eyes. It's still enough to say, wow, no wonder he was great. And it's the same thing when you see the videos. You still see that speed. You still see now it's not with anybody who's thrown back at him, but you still see that. Look, to come all the way around and answer your question, at the end of the day, you don't want anybody to be doing something that could be detrimental to them, that could hurt them. And at the end of the day, that's really not something that Teddy Atlas has to answer. That's something that Mike Tyson and the people around him that love him, that care about him, they have to answer that. They have to be sure of that. And I would say that if he gets in the ring, then they were sure of that. Until someone proves me differently to me, I'm going to say that those people love him. Those people care. He cares about still being healthy. He cares about still being around for his family. I would say that if you see him get in there on whatever date it is, July or whatever date it becomes, then you would have to say, well, you know what, he's okay. And you hope that that's true. That's the best way I can answer it.
I think you've kind of said it from the heart, and as a man that cares about Mike as well, I don't think you would answer any
I care
better.
about all people. I care about all people unless they show me to be really bad people. Then I don't care about them, to be honest, because then they don't care about other people. But as long as somebody has decency in them and some care for others other than themselves, yeah, I care that they're okay. I don't want to. I don't want to see. I laugh. I don't laugh. I almost cry, but I laugh. I just scratch my head when I see some of these people out there being hateful. Like, what is that doing for you? Is it really making your life better? That energy that you're spending on being hateful, is it helping you? Is it helping your family? Yeah, if you can't like somebody, but fine, but don't hate them. Why?
Beautiful advice that. I want to talk to you quickly about Tyson Fury. The rematch is now done. Obviously, we spoke after the fight. He's got to make some adjustments and some changes, but give me a couple of things that you think that he needs to definitely do to turn that result around.
Tyson Fury? Yeah. I thought he fought a great fight. Look, listen, first of all, I want to dismiss all this stuff out there, corner about there's that. Tyson Fury fought a terrific fight, and he showed the will, the character, the heart of a champion. I always say when I was doing the broadcast for ESPN for 20-some years, where it's not enough to fight like a champ. You have to behave like one. He behaved like a one. When he got hurt the way he did, not too many people come back from that ninth round. Here's the thing for me that really put him in a special sort of air, if you will, a special light, where he not only survived it, and he spent the 10th round surviving it still, but then in the 11th and 12th, he went in there to win. He actually, that is remarkable, that after the damage he took in that 9th round and this close to being stopped, comes back in the 11th and 12th and fights to win, not just survive. A lot of guys would have fought just to survive and say, hey, survive.
I know you made the point that USYK backed off. Do you still stand by that?
No, yeah, only at he only backed listen, he kept his word. That night, the night before, when they each do the stare down, and then there was a shoving match, and then of course the instigator behind him, Mike, doing his job, saying, okay, you have something to say, you have, to build it up, to promote it at the end, right? He says to Fury, you have something to say, and Fury said, pretty much his standard line, where I knocked this so-and-so the spark out, right? So he does his thing. Then they ask Fury, and Fury gets quiet for a minute, and then and they ask him again. Not Fury, I'm sorry, USYK. Then they ask USYK, and USYK gets quiet for a minute. Then they ask him again, USYK, are you going to respond to what Fury just said? And he thinks about it, he says, do not be afraid. I will not leave you alone. He was telling you what he was going to do, because that was his plan. He was not going to leave him alone. When he got to him finally in the night, that wasn't just from one round. That was from the constant pressure. You ever watch a pot of boiling water?
Yeah.
You watch a pot of boiling water, right? You walk away for a little while. What happens? The water ain't there no more.
Yeah.
It evaporates from the heat, from the pressure. Pressure does the same thing. Pressure evaporates you. So you're going for all those rounds, all that boiling on the stove, and then all of a sudden the ninth round, nobody notices. All of a sudden, Usyk's getting a little closer. There's a little evaporation going on. And again, with all of that, the greatness of both fighters, and they were great. Fury comes back in 11th and 12th, and like I said before, a lot of people would have been enough just survive. But he goes in there and risks himself and tries to win. I think in this time, look, you don't need Teddy Atlas to tell you really. I answer your question, but I answered in this way. He's got good people around him that obviously had him ready, where that fight was that close, where he was winning after the 6th round. I had him up 4 rounds to 2. Matter of fact, I had him winning the last 4 rounds going into the 7th. And then Usyk did what he does. He's got one great talent. He does a lot of things real well, really solid. There's nothing you could pick at, say, no, he's no good. But there's nothing where he's great. He's not a great puncher. He's not the greatest speed in the world. He's not, but everything real solid. And there's something to be said about that. But there is one thing he does great. He always finds a way to win.
He does.
Always finds a way to win.
That's what great fighters do, don't they?
Did it in the Olympics when he was all the way back then. Did it in the cruiserweights, unified the title, went up to heavyweight, a big fighter, a big heavyweight in his own country, a real good heavyweight in Joshua, beats him, and then to show that it wasn't an accident, goes back and does it again. So he always knows how to find. And in the Joshua fight, if you remember, when he got hurt in that round, what'd he do? The next round comes right back and takes control of the fight. He finds a way. And that's what he did. That's that.
Don't think it's sad, Teddy, but on that fans, what they do is when he beat AJ, people are dismissing AJ, saying, it's time for him to retire. And now we're picking holes in Tyson Fury's performance. His corner went right, this wasn't right. Why can't people just give Usyk the credit that he probably deserves?
I'm giving it to him.
I know you are, but the critics don't do this sometimes.
No, I think sometimes people get caught up too much in being a fan instead of being just down the middle. And what normally, if they weren't a fan, if you took the fan out of the equation, and don't forget, fan is short for fanatic. We're a little crazy. Fans, the fans get a little nutty, and sometimes, it's a great thing to be with your heart, but sometimes you also need to think with this. And sometimes when we think with this too much, it has to be forgiven. It has to be understood, because if you took that out of the equation of being a fan, the English fan, whatever it is, and you just put them down there and watch the fight, just neutral, no horse in the race, as they say, right? And they probably, oh man, that Usyk, they give him all the due in the world. But when you're a fan, the emotions get in the way a little bit. I think that most boxing fans really give credit to Usyk for really. I'll tell you one that did. You want to know one that did? And he's a damn good one. And I had him number 1 as the best fighter in the world up until that fight. Crawford, I give him credit. Crawford, after that fight was over. See, after the fight was over, I moved Usyk to number 1 above Crawford and Inoue, who were the top 2 guys. And I found out afterwards. My son told me, he said, Dad, Crawford actually came out and said he should be number 1 ahead of me now. I give that man credit. That's a man who was thinking with this, not just in any other way. And I applaud him for that. And I think there's plenty of people out there that think that way. To get back and answer your question, because I don't forget. I forget how.
I love that bite. I knew he was going to come back.
I remember where we started, even though I took you around the corner a little bit,
down the alleyway and
down the alleyway in a little bit, and take a look at Big Ben and everything else. But what Fury, and he's got good people, and they had him ready. But what I would add to it would be, he did a good job, as I used to always say, setting the table with the jab. And for me, that's what he had to do. Control the range, use his height, use his great reach, and use that jab to control range. Make it hard for Usyk to get to him. Make him walk through a bad neighborhood and then mug him a little bit, if you can. But there's certain guys that won't get mugged. They'll wind up mugging you. Yeah. And Usyk, I made a joke about it on my podcast. I said, you know what Usyk is like? Usyk is like that movie, the original one, Crocodile Dundee, where the guy tries to mug him in the subway, and he's got the knife on him, and he said, "Give me sucker, whatever, give me your money." And Crocodile Dundee looks at him. He says, "That ain't a knife. This is a knife," and it's like a machete. It's like this big, and the guy runs off. That's kind of like trying to mug Usyk. That's not a knife. This is a knife. And so, but the thing in that fight was he really did do a great, superb job of using the jab, especially the first 6 rounds, controlling the outside. There's one thing he came up short on, and you know what it was? It was the other part of what I used to always say: set the table with your jab and eat with the right hand. He didn't eat enough. He threw it in spots. He even landed a beautiful right uppercut at the end of the 6th that shook Usyk. But he could have eaten a little bit more off of the jab. He could, and that's the only thing that I would add to it, is that you almost got drunk with the jab. You got a little giddy with the jab, like you were jabbing, but don't forget to eat. And you know what happens? You come from a big family.
Fairly, yeah.
When you come from a big family, if you don't eat when it's on the table, you don't have food. Somebody else eats it. When you're in there with a hungry fighter like Usyk, if you don't eat, he's gonna steal your meal.
Basically, that.
He's gonna steal your meal, and he stole his meal in those kind of ways. That would be the only thing I would add, and maybe one other thing, where you don't want to give. For me, when I teach, you don't want to give up defense for offense. And there are times where being tall is a big advantage. But there's times it could be a disadvantage. When a guy gets close to you and you start dropping your hands to punch, you leave an opening. And in the 9th round, he did that. He gave up defense for offense. For me, you always got to find a way never to give up defense for offense. But listen, he fought a great fight. It was a great night. And maybe we'll have another great one.
We will do. Mr. Atlas, I genuinely appreciate your breakdown, because that was an incredible breakdown. We'll talk about this 5v5 tomorrow. Exciting card. You're obviously flown out for it, and I think we're expecting some fireworks tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time.
You know what's incredible about tomorrow? What you just touched on. That we just had an incredible night less than 2 weeks ago where we unified the heavyweight title, right? Mm-hmm. And then what are you supposed to take? Take a deep breath, take a vacation, go on the beach for a little while. No, they come back with this. But with this, not just the show, with 5 fights that each one of them on their own could make a great show. Each one of them on their own. The top guys fighting top guys. You come back with that. That's incredible. That is really like one of those wow moments, like, wow, they really are doing it right.
They indeed are. That's why they've got Mr. Teddy Atlas back here in Riyadh. Teddy, I want to speak to you after the fight. I look forward to this event, and thank you for your time. Thank you very much, sir.